silk, a light-foot grace, a tailored glove on a rotting face. I broker the filth, I fix the mess in a gown of lace and a stiletto press. Sewer keeps secrets, I hold the key, while the honest men drown in the dark for me.
Okay, so imagine you get hired for what looks like just a literal garbage disposal job.
Right, like a municipal plumbing issue.
Exactly. You're tracking down some polluted water out in the wilderness. You trace it back to the source. You pull out the blockage. And suddenly you are staring at a month-long identity theft at the highest levels of government.
And backed by infernal magic, no less.
Right. I mean, what starts as a broken pipe turns into literally the biggest conspiracy in Baldur's Gate.
It is the ultimate escalation. I mean, you go in with a wrench and you walk out holding an infernal warrant, suddenly realizing that the people running the city might not actually be the people running the city.
Yeah, if you've been following the events of Session 15, which we are calling the River's Rot, you know exactly how fast this spirals.
Oh, it goes from 0 to 100 so fast.
It really does.
Yeah.
So today, our mission is to take the session summaries, the character interactions, the setting descriptions, and just completely tear them apart.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how a simple environmental hazard fundamentally changes the power dynamics of this entire region.
It's a massive shift in the story.
So we are starting out at Sarisha's Caress in Worm's Crossing because, well, that's where the party goes to meet their client, right? The tiefling druid Nerea Ashgrove.
Which, by the way, is a completely brilliant setting for this specific meeting. If you look at the psychology of what's happening before anyone even speaks, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nerea is waiting in one of the themed rooms. Specifically, she chose a forest-themed room.
Right. She's wearing these, like, weather-worn traveling leathers. She's got a river reed charm braided into one of her horns. And she is just sitting there with this incredible, alert stillness. Like, you can actually feel the tension rolling off her in the source material. It's like bringing a wild stag into a shopping mall.
That is a great way to put it. The choice of the forest-themed room, it's a tragic compromise, really.
How so?
Well, a druid in a major metropolitan hub like Baldur's Gate isn't just physically uncomfortable. They are experiencing a full-on sensory assault.
Oh, because of the magic.
Exactly. The weave of magic in a city is rigid. It's heavily altered by thousands of people, by dead stone, industry, waste. For someone who is deeply attuned to the natural flow of life, urban environments are suffocating.
Wow, so she's actually suffering just being there.
Yeah, she chose a room that constructs a fake, artificial version of nature just to cope with the sheer anxiety of the press of civilization around her. It's a coping mechanism.
That makes so much sense. Well, they have this really quick exchange about how miserable the city is, and then they basically just get the hell out of there.
Can't blame him.
They head down to the banks of the river Keonthar, moving downstream from the city walls, and they walk for over an hour, which is a detail I really think we need to linger on.
Right, an hour's walk is significant.
Yeah, because this isn't a problem happening right at the city gates. The blight is pushed far out into the wilderness.
The environmental storytelling here is methodical. I mean, an hour's walk means the volume of whatever is polluting the river is massive.
That's huge output.
And the vegetation is described as wilted, blackened at the edges. It's not just dirty water, it's a creeping death.
So Valessa reaches out with her magical senses and casts Detect Magic, and what she sees is just haunting.
It's a great visual.
It really is. It's a current of necromantic energy flowing through the water.
Yeah.
It's invisible to the naked eye, but magically. It looks like an oil spill dripping downstream, and it's coming from inside Baldur's Gate.
See, we have to differentiate here between ordinary civic pollution and necromantic pollution.
Okay, break that down for me.
Well, if the guild or some patriar factory dumps chemical runoff or raw sewage into the Keonthar, it poisons the water, right? It starves the plants of oxygen. It disrupts the pH balance.
Sure, standard industrial waste.
Destructive, yes, but it is a natural chemical process that the ecosystem can eventually dilute and recover from. Necromancy, on the other hand, is an anti-life force.
It's fundamentally different.
Exactly. It operates by completely subverting the natural cycle.
Right, it doesn't just kill the environment. Like, Valessa's seeing this as like a marine biologist spotting a toxic oil slick. Only this oil actively turns local wildlife into zombies.
Yeah, it perverts the life cycle, it traps life energy, and twists it into undeath. It's a localized disruption of the weave that basically forces biology to run backward.
And the immediate consequence of that backward biology is what they run into next.
Oh, dear.
The undead deer. a whole herd of them in various states of decay. Now, I really want to talk about this combat encounter, because it's not just a mechanical fight. It is a masterclass in showcasing the party's dynamic and how they operate under pressure.
It totally highlights their action economy, but also their personality.
Yeah.
I love how Shane initiates the combat.
Oh my God, the deadpan delivery.
He does it with this incredible deadpan delivery. He literally just says, "Do you want a zombie deer?"
Which he actually references later to Gentleman, too.
Right. He just asks that and then starts shooting. He scores a critical hit and puts one down instantly.
And then look at the Nerea. She was practically vibrating with anxiety back at Sorash's caress. But out here in the blighted wilderness,
She's in her element.
she is an absolute force of nature. She fires a green magical dart from her staff and instantly drops one. But what really gets me, what I love the most, is Vagfrir.
The barbarian cook.
Yes, she steps up and crushes one of these undead deer with a normal, unraged attack.
That detail about the unraged attack is so vital for understanding her baseline physical power.
Yeah, she didn't even need to get mad.
She doesn't need to tap into her primal fury or expend that deep internal resource. She just casually obliterates a decaying stag with raw baseline strength.
It's terrifying. And then Velez and Siantal step in and blast the rest into dust. It's a completely synchronized, ruthless takedown.
It's surgical, truly.
And then we get this amazing post-combat interaction. The area offers them magical good berries, and someone makes a joke about her eating like a bird.
A classic mistake.
Yeah, and she doesn't get defensive at all. She gets theatrical. To prove she isn't fragile, she wild shapes into a massive secretary bird and just preens proudly.
Which is such a brilliant detail.
Yeah.
Biologically, a secretary bird is a deeply specific and aggressive choice.
Really? I just thought it was a funny bird.
Oh no, they are raptors known for stomping venomous snakes to death with incredible blunt force trauma.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, by transforming into that specific avian predator, she is sending a very clear message. She is telling them, I may not like your stone buildings, but out here, I am the apex predator.
It's a display of absolute dominance.
Completely.
So she makes it very clear she isn't following them back into the city, preferring to wait for a magical message. So the party is left to follow this invisible, necromantic oil slick upstream.
Tracing it back to the source.
Right, and it traces all the way back to the city walls. But look, I am hung up on something here.
What's that?
We know Baldur's Gate is a grimy city. We know it has thriving criminal underworld. But illegal necromantic dumping on this scale. How does something that potent go completely unnoticed by the Flaming Fist or the City Watch before it hits the river? I mean, shouldn't someone have caught this?
Well, you're assuming the Flaming Fist acts like a modern environmental protection agency.
I guess I am, yeah.
They don't. The infrastructure of Baldur's Gate is ancient and largely ignored by the upper city. The Fist patrols the streets to prevent riots and protect property.
They're cops, not water inspectors.
Exactly. They aren't testing the water quality of the sewage outflow. Unless a problem directly inconveniences a patriarch or threatens a major trade route, a massive magical biohazard can absolutely slip through the cracks.
Just because no one is looking.
Simply because no one with actual authority is looking down at the muck.
Man, that is bleak.
Yeah.
So they follow the muck, and they find out exactly who's looking at it. They trace the rot to Sewer Keep.
Such a great location.
It really is. This is a civic facility built directly into the city walls. It's supposed to treat the city's sewage before it enters the river, but they aren't using grates or settling pools.
No, they are using magically augmented plants.
Shambling mounds.
It is brilliant civic world building. I mean, you have this dim, damp facility that smells heavily of waste, managed by a reclusive band of druids who are acting as civil servants.
And the person running the entire operation is Gentleman Kapali.
A Lightfoot halfling with an enormous attitude.
Shane recognizes her territory immediately, too. Gentleman is a minor boss within the guild, known for making people disappear. So they don't kick the door down, which is smart.
Very smart.
They ask for an audience. But when she comes out, she is incredibly defensive.
Well, that's the default posture of a guild boss. Heavily armed adventurers poking around a waste management facility. She expects a shakedown.
Or an accusation of illegal dumping.
Exactly. But notice how her demeanor shifts the absolute second they mention necromancy and zombie animals. The defensiveness evaporates into deep, genuine worry.
She drops the tough guy act immediately.
Yeah, because this isn't a shakedown anymore. It's an operational crisis.
Right. She admits she has a massive problem. One of her shambling mounds, a creature she affectionately calls Bessie, is violently ill.
And her staff of sewerkeeper druids can't figure out why.
So she leads the party into this room with massive purification tanks featuring magically reinforced glass walls. And inside one of these tanks, half obscured by Bessie's thrashing vines, is a waterlogged corpse.
And Valessa extends her magical senses again, and the tank is just blinding.
Oh, the magic is that strong.
It is absolutely teeming with necromantic energy, radiating directly from this body.
It's a nightmare. Bessie has become possessive of this highly toxic corpse. She is slamming against the glass with this furious plant-like rage. And Gentleman is literally begging the party not to kill Bessie.
I really want to analyze Gentleman's motivation here because it's fascinating.
Is it just about money?
Partially, but in the criminal underworld, human connections are fraught with betrayal. A plant monster, however, does exactly what it is trained to do.
Doesn't snitch.
Exactly. It doesn't skim off the top. It doesn't talk to the watch. It is a loyal asset. Replacing a shambling mound trained for this specific, highly putrid civic duty would be an enormous logistical and financial nightmare.
It would ruin her.
It would threaten her standing in the guild. But beyond the economics, people bond with the creatures they work with, even if that creature is a terrifying compost monster.
So it's like her pet, in a way.
A very dangerous municipal pet, yeah.
So the party has to solve this.
Yeah.
And look, I look at this extraction like trying to retrieve a leaking nuclear battery that has been swallowed by a giant, angry, highly protective houseplant.
That is the perfect analogy.
You can't break the tank, you can't kill the plant, and you have to get the radioactive core out. How do you even approach that?
Look at the sequential logic they use to solve it. It starts with the environment. There is a hydraulic valve to drain the tank, but it hasn't been operated in roughly 50 years.
It is completely rusted solid.
So Shane uses a specialized lubricating oil liquid wrench to loosen this half-century-old rust.
In a world of high magic, the solution starts with chemistry and mechanics. I love that so much.
It's so grounded. He lubes up the valve, and Vangfrior forces it open with pure strength.
Water begins to drain. But Bessie is still a massive, agitated threat inside the tank. They can't just walk in.
Right, because shambling mounds are notoriously resilient. They absorb lightning, they resist fire and cold. Brute force is terribly inefficient against them.
So Valessa uses Salune's viper. She conjures this shimmering spectral snake that wraps around her before striking Bessie.
Now, why that spell specifically? Why not just put it to sleep or paralyze it?
That's why I was wondering. It's a plant.
Exactly. Plant biology is tricky. Sleep spells often fail on creatures lacking standard nervous systems, but Selena's viper delivers a potent, magically synthesized poison.
Oh, so she poisons a plant.
Yes. While plants resist many things, introducing a high-level necrotic adjacent or spectral toxin can temporarily shock their system. It mimics severe cellular damage without permanently destroying the root structure.
So it just knocks it out.
It non-lethally incapacitates the monster, preserving Gentleman's livelihood.
That is so smart. It buys them a tiny window. Shane wades in, grabs this highly toxic, waterlogged corpse, and drags it out of the tank, dropping it at the door to escape the necrotic aura.
The battery is out of the houseplant.
Battery's out, but now they have to look at the battery. And this is where the narrative completely fractures.
Everything changes here.
Siantal steps up to examine the body. And we really need to emphasize the physical toll of this investigation, because just being near this corpse causes painful necrotic damage.
It's actively hurting them.
Yeah, Siantal is enduring the magical decay of their own cells, that unnatural cold withering, just to conduct this autopsy.
Which is incredibly brave, honestly.
They wipe away the muck and find the identification. It's a wood elf. She is wearing an iconic diadem. It belongs to the Durenbold family.
Oh, man.
This is Lady Aelia Durenbold.
A prominent patriarch. A sitting member of the Parliament of Peers. This isn't some street-level assassination. This is a head of state.
And here is the reality-breaking twist. Siantal determines that Lady Durenbold didn't drown.
No, she didn't.
She has been dead for approximately 4 to 5 weeks, killed by a powerful necrotic curse. But, and here's the kicker, the party realizes they have seen Lady Durenbold alive and active in the city within the last week.
Think about the socio-political implications of that timeline.
Staggering.
For a month, an imposter has been sitting in the Parliament of Peers. They have been voting on legislation, steering city resources, and interacting with the highest levels of government.
All while wearing a dead woman's face.
The ruling class of Baldur's Gate is entirely compromised.
See, this is where my mind immediately jumps to a doppelganger. It's the cleanest explanation, right? A natural shapeshifter just assumes her life. Why overcomplicate it?
I don't buy the doppelganger theory, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, hit me.
The necrotic curse. Doppelgangers are biological shapeshifters. They rely on mundane assassination. A dagger in an alley, poison in a cup.
They aren't throwing high-level magic around.
Exactly. They don't have the innate magical capacity to weave a high-level necrotic curse that leaves a corpse radiating dark magic for a month. A necrotic curse of this magnitude is a signature.
Okay, that makes sense. What about a simulacrum? An illusion made of snow and ice.
A simulacrum requires the original subject to be alive for a portion of the casting, and it doesn't explain the cursed corpse. If you make a simulacrum, you don't need to fatally curse the original and dump her in a magically sealed sewage tank. You just hide her or kill her normally.
So what's left? A Rakshasa.
A Rakshasa is possible, sure. They are fiends who excel at long-term infiltration and high-level magic. But the sheer necrotic nature of the death points heavily toward an organized, magically proficient faction.
Like a cult.
Right. Thyans are masters of necromancy. Veilists are masters of ritualized murder. A magical disguise paired with a localized necrotic curse heavily suggests a faction with deep arcane resources, not a lone shapeshifter.
Which means the party is dealing with a highly organized syndicate or cult that has infiltrated the government.
And notice their reaction. This is key.
Yeah, they don't run to the Flaming Fist.
Not at all. They instantly shift from environmental cleanup crew to political fixers. They know if they blow the whistle now, the imposter just vanishes.
Or uses their political power to crush the party.
Precisely.
So they execute a perfect quarantine protocol. They can't touch the body because of the curse. So Valessa and Santal coordinate. They use unseen servants, these mindless magical forces, to lift the body onto Tenser's floating disc.
Which is basically a circular plane of magical force.
Right, and they hover the body out of the sewers without ever laying a finger on it. And while they're doing this highly delicate, deeply stressful operation, Gentleman is just thrilled that Bessie is alive.
She's ecstatic.
She pays the party a bag of coin. And right in the middle of this dark, heavy political realization, we get this fantastic comedic beat.
Oh, the card game.
Yes. Shane stays behind to watch the body, ends up playing cards with Gentleman, and wins 25 gold from her.
After explicitly claiming he has no skill at cards earlier.
The hustle is real. And then there's the high five incident.
I love this part.
Valessa had offered Gentleman a high five earlier, and it went completely ignored. Later, Gentleman tries to teach Santal the concept.
And Santal is utterly baffled.
They analyze it like a magical ritual and conclude it must be some sort of communal battery. Santal literally says, I don't understand what you're saying. She's not hanging anywhere.
High five, hanging. It's amazing. It's the perfect release of tension before they plunge back into the grim reality of evidence disposal.
Which they have to do fast. So Santal brings in Leonie Wynn, a contact who manages the graveyard. Leonie casts Gentle Repose on Lady Durenbold.
Now, why is that spell so critical right now?
I mean, to stop the smell?
Well, yes, but more importantly, Gentle Repose halts the decay process entirely and prevents the body from being raised as undead.
Oh, right.
It freezes the evidence in time, trapping the necrotic curse in stasis. Leonie agrees to hide the body secretly in a mausoleum without identifying it. They've basically bought themselves a window to investigate.
So with the body hidden, Santal decides to take this to the absolute top of the chain. They leave the group and head alone to the High Hall to see Mizora.
A bold move.
For you listening, if you know Mizora, you know she is a Cambion, a half-fiend, and she operates as the advisor to Grand Duke Will Ravengard.
She moves in the absolute highest circles of power in Baldur's Gate.
And Santal just walks into her office, reports the river pollution, and drops the bombshell that the pollution was caused by the cursed corpse of Lady Durenbold.
A normal political advisor would panic. They would call the guards, lock down the building.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But Mizora doesn't gasp. With complete chilling composure, she looks at Santal and reveals that she had tea with Lady Durenbold earlier that very day.
Just completely unflappable.
Her reaction is entirely calculating. She processes the information instantly. She realizes there's an unknown variable in her political sandbox, and she immediately weaponizes the party.
She tasks them with investigating the Durenbold family to uncover the imposter's motives.
She keeps her own hands clean while dispatching a highly capable strike team to root out the anomaly. It's textbook fiendish delegation.
And to give them authority, she doesn't just sign a piece of paper. She magically manifests an investigative warrant.
The aesthetics of this are so cool.
Infernal script burns itself directly into the parchment, warps into common text, and is stamped with her personal seal. It's incredibly intimidating.
That is an infernal warrant.
Hmm.
In the codified laws of Baldur's Gate, holding a warrant from the Grand Duke's advisor gives you near limitless authority to bypass standard jurisdiction.
You can go anywhere.
But because it is forged by a Cambion, it carries heavy metaphysical weight. It is quite literally a devil's favor.
Yeah, I look at this like a mafia don handing you a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yeah.
It solves your immediate problem. You can now legally poke around a Patria estate, but now you owe the don.
You are operating under her umbrella.
And Mizora ensures Santal feels that dynamic. During the conversation, she subtly points out that Santal's current warlock contract might not be the most fitting arrangement for someone of their talents.
She is dangling at the possibility a new patron.
She wants to poach them. Santal shuts it down with pure, literal facts, saying, "Unfortunately, this contract was created before I was born."
Which is a great defense.
But I have to push back on Santal's strategy here. Should they trust Mizora with this? I mean, she literally had tea with the imposter. What if Mizora orchestrated the replacement, and she is just using the party to clean up the loose end that washed up in the sewer?
That's the danger. When dealing with a devil, you have to assume they're playing both sides.
Always.
If Mizora did orchestrate the replacement, the discovery of the original body is a massive liability. By giving the party a warrant to investigate, she ensures she controls the flow of information.
She can steer the investigation.
She can monitor their progress and ultimately frame whoever she wants. Or, conversely, she is genuinely angry that a rival faction successfully infiltrated the parliament under her nose, and she wants them eradicated.
Because it threatens her control.
Exactly. Either way, Santal walking out with that warrant ties the party's fate to Mizora's agenda.
So Santal brings the burning piece of paper back to the party, which brings us to the next morning. They head back to Sarish's Caress to meet Neria Ashgrove.
To wrap up the initial job.
Right. Neria is pleased because the river's already clearing up, the necromantic source is gone, the immediate contract is fulfilled. But Shane sees an opportunity to fix the systemic issue.
Shane remembers Geneman complaining about her incompetent sewer-keeper druids.
He connects the dots. He realizes Neria needs coin, and Geneman needs expertise. So he pitches Neria a job. Go train Geneman's staff.
It's a perfect arrangement.
It really is. Sewerkeep is built into the outer walls, so Neria doesn't have to deal with the crowds of the inner city, and she gets paid regularly. Neria enthusiastically agrees, and her method of travel to the job interview is just amazing.
Oh, the squirrel.
She wild shapes into a squirrel and scampers up into the folds of Valessa's clothing.
It is the ultimate avoidance of urban social interaction.
It's like smuggling snacks into a movie theater, except the snack is a highly lethal spellcaster who can turn into a secretary bird and stomp you to death.
A very dangerous snack.
Valessa just casts a fly spell and physically flies the squirrel druid directly to Sewerkeep, completely bypassing the city streets. The logistical networking of this party is incredible.
It really shows how much they have evolved. They aren't just killing monsters in caves anymore.
No, they're playing politics.
They are shaping the city's infrastructure through their alliances. They are taking a wild tiefling and connecting her with a guild boss to optimize civic sewage.
Yeah,
That is high-level play.
it really is. But the larger problem remains. The Durenbold imposter. They regroup to plan. Santal presents the infernal warrant. They have the legal authority, but they need social access.
Because you can't just walk up to a noble and hand them a devil's note.
Exactly. They realize direct confrontation is suicide. You don't kick down the door of a Patria estate. They debate using Zone of Truth to interrogate her, but they quickly reject it.
As they should. I mean, you can't cast a glowing magical circle of compulsion at a high society event without drawing immediate hostile attention.
Everyone would see it.
Heavily armed Patriarch guards, rival spellcasters, they would shut you down instantly. It's too blunt an instrument.
So they decide the upcoming Patria Ball is the perfect cover. It's a grand social gathering where the elite of the city will be mingling, drinking, and dropping their guard.
It's an environment where words are weapons, not swords.
And just as they are cementing this plan, Valessa drops a massive lore bombshell that completely recontextualizes the threat.
The Tsar estate scrolls.
Yes, she has been studying ancient scrolls recovered from the Tsar estate. The scrolls detail old rituals tied to archdevils, specifically Mephistopheles, and they hint at a rumored hidden ritual chamber somewhere beneath the Tsar palace.
We have to connect the dots across this entire investigation because the scope is just ballooning.
Right, let's trace it.
We started with a localized necrotic curse killing a patriarch. We know from earlier sessions that Bilious murderers and Taiyan necromancers are operating in the city.
Cultists and wizards.
And now Valessa uncovers ancient rituals tied to Mephistopheles, the lord of the 8th layer of hell, hidden beneath a major noble estate.
The scope of the danger is expanding exponentially. This isn't just mortal politics anymore. It's not just a guild turf war over sewage.
No, we are looking at the machinations of archdevils attempting to establish footholds in the mortal realm, using the highest levels of government as their beachhead.
So they have a fake noble, an upcoming high society ball, and rumors of archdevil rituals. Put yourself in their shoes as they prepare to walk into this patriarch ball.
Okay.
What is their biggest blind spot? What should they be looking for that they aren't?
Well, honestly, their biggest blind spot is assuming that Lady Durnbold is the only piece on the board.
Oh, wow.
They are going to walk into a ballroom full of the most powerful people in the city, hyper-focused on one target. But whoever had the resources, the magic, and the audacity to seamlessly assassinate and replace a member of the Parliament of Peers likely didn't stop there.
Because you don't build that kind of infiltration apparatus just to use it once.
Exactly. The party needs to watch the periphery. They need to see who Lady Durnbold is talking to, whose legislation is she suddenly supporting. They need to look for minute changes in behavior, not just in their target, but in the entire network of nobles around her.
When you think about it, we started this journey looking at wilted plants and zombie deer on a riverbank.
A simple cleanup job.
Step by step, we followed the rot into the sewers, pulled a dead noblewoman out of a glass tank, secured an infernal warrant from a devilish advisor, and are now preparing to infiltrate the highest echelon of the city's government to hunt a shape-shifting imposter tied to archdevil rituals.
Every solution only reveals a larger, more terrifying problem. It is an intricate web of causality.
Which leaves you with a truly chilling concept to mull over. If one patriarch was seamlessly replaced by a perfect imposter for over a month,
Sipping tea with the Grand Duke's advisor without raising a single alarm.
what makes the party think Lady Durnbold is the only one? Next time you look at the leaders of Baldur's Gate, you have to wonder, how many faces are actually masks, and whose agenda are they really serving?
An incredibly unsettling reality to carry into a crowded ballroom.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, trust absolutely no one at a dinner party, and keep questioning what lies beneath the surface. We'll see you next time.
Perfume and silk, a light foot grace, a tailored glove on a rotting face. I broker the filth, I fix the mess in a gown of lace and a stiletto press. Sewer keeps secrets, I hold the key, while the honest men drown in the dark for me. Down in the sewers, I am the queen, the cleanest boss that you've ever seen. Trading a piece of your soft, stupid heart to keep the rot from tearing us apart. I manage the shadows, I sell the lie. Silk on the surface, the district dies. Silk on the surface, the district dies. I see the shambling mound in the rain, a festering shame, a beautiful pain. I stall for time while the innocent rot. I choose the silence, the knots that I've tied. One little scandal and it all falls down. So I'll keep my perfume to poison this town. On my chest, where the silk meets the skin, a name for a girl I used to let in. A stale, just a vestige of truth, before I liquidated my youth. The rot starts with you, then it starts with the soul. Down in the sewers, I am the queen, the cleanest boss that you've ever seen. Trading a piece of your soft, stupid heart to keep the rot from tearing us apart. I manage the shadows, I sell the lie. Silk on the surface, the district dies. Silk on the surface, the district dies. Don't mind the smell, it's just the cost of doing business. Get gone.